And welcome in to the pregame show between the Battle of the Birds, Carthage, and the Firebirds, sitting 8-4 overall, 2-1 in conference play, welcoming the Blue Jays of Elmhurst, 1-1 in conference play, 8-3 overall. And we're live from Tarble Arena in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Hello, everybody, alongside my broadcast colleague this afternoon, Eric Elger, and sideline reporter Dan Pfeifer. I'm Peter Ferreri. A nice way to come back from the new year, Eric, then some CCIW men's hoops, and it's two teams that perennially are just nightmares for one another.
Yeah, I mean, and where these two teams expect to be at the end of the year, they are both vying for the top spot in this conference, and this will be a pivotal game here because the loser tonight ends up with 2 losses in the conference, as you can see the standings right there. So grouped up at the top there, and Elmhurst can jump right up to the tie of the conference lead, and it is even through the CCIW, as it always is, a super competitive league, top to bottom, and even teams you look at like North Central and Wheaton, they can be dangerous as well.
Well, and you just kind of put a little asterisk next to that Illinois Wesleyan team, or highlight it, because that team in green, they gave all sorts of fits, beat Carthage in overtime, and we always know Illinois Wesleyan, one of the best teams in the conference, so if they start getting things going, watch out. And let's look now at some of the pregame statistics between these two squads, brought to you as always by the Pullman Auto Stores of the greater Kenosha area, and you'll see a lot of 2s and 3s for this Carthage College Firebird squad statistically.
Yeah, and a lot of those are on the defensive end, as Carthage, one of the better defending teams in the conference. That's something that Coach Jurkovic has always employed here at Carthage, is taking a lot of pride on the defensive end. And the other thing that you'll see, I think a big turning point in the game might be here, is the Carthage team, a really good rebounding team with players like Ryan Johnson, one of the best rebounders in the conference, and they're going to have to go against the Blue Jays, who not quite as dominant on the glass. And so when you look at the margins are so thin between these two teams, that rebounding advantage might be something that turns the tide of the game.
And again, both of these sets of statistics brought to you by the Pullman Auto Stores. I do like this for the Blue Jays. Their opponent three-point percentage, 27, that's first. That means that perimeter defense is really something to behold for the Blue Jays.
Well, they'll have their hands cut out with Riley Brooks, one of the best three-point shooters in the conference coming into tonight. He is 8th in the CCIW at 42%, so they're going to have to try to slow down one of the best scorers in the country, in the conference, in Riley Brooks.
That they are, and of course that is a player that for head coach John Baines, his 13th season at the helm for Elmhurst, he's like, we got to stop Brooks and just hope the rest of the team doesn't pick it up. And speaking of who spoke with Coach Baines and Coach Jurkovic, with the players to watch for the game, sending it now to sideline reporter Dan Pfeifer. Dan, welcome to the CCIW Network.
Welcome to you as well, Peter, and we're expecting this one to be an exciting, high-scoring game. So let's start with the 2 highest scorers for each team. Number 1, you've got Dominic Trailenberg, who's out here for the Blue Jays. He's 6th in the conference right now in scoring, averaging 18.3 points per contest. Keep in mind, this is a Blue Jays team that just recently broke its school record for points in a game with 137 in a game on December 17th against Greenville. A big reason for that was the performance of Trailenberg in that contest. But again, as you just mentioned upstairs, right behind him, Riley Brooks, averaging 18 points per contest, 7th in the conference right now. Brooks is looking to have a big game today. Had a chance to talk with Coach Baines before this one. He said, hey, you know what? It sounds simplistic, but it's true. Whoever scores the most points in this contest is going to win, and it's a matter of finding a way to make some shots. He said that game against Greenville, they played a kind of gimmicky defense in that one. They were able to run the floor against them. He doesn't expect things to be as easy against this Carthage team that's surrounding me right now, giving themselves some bumps. Getting excited before the start of this one. Peter, let's send it back up to you before I end up part of a breakdown here.
All right, we want Dan to live throughout the rest of the contest. He's getting excited on the sideline. In just about 30 seconds, we'll hand it over to Justin Corrigan, the public address announcer for the starting lineups. Eric, final thoughts.
I think the CCIW, you always know these games are going to be hotly contested, and the prize for this win is whoever wins this one gets to the top of the conference, if albeit momentarily. But yeah, with that carrot out in front of you, you're going to try to put your best foot forward to try to get on top of this CCIW schedule.
Starting lineups now brought to you by the Doctors of Physical Therapy.
Good evening, student athletes, coaches, staff, and fans, and welcome to Tarble Arena for today's CCIW men's basketball game between the Elmhurst University Blue Jays and your Carthage College Firebirds. Let's meet tonight's starting lineups. First for the visiting Blue Jays. At guard, a 6'2 senior from Wooddale, Illinois, number 0, Sebastian Blahout. At forward, a 6'5 senior from Westchester, Illinois, number 1, Dominic Trellenberg. At guard, a 6-foot freshman from Addison, Illinois, number 2, Luke Smith. At forward, a 6'5 sophomore from Moline, Illinois, number 15, Vinny Ejalhungbeda. And at forward, a 6'5 sophomore from Libertyville, Illinois, number 40, Aiden Boone. The head coach of the Blue Jays is John Baines. Coach Baines is assisted by John Chang, Militia Swam, Aiden Chang, and Shane Miller. All right, Firebirds fans, make some noise. It's showtime.
First was savage, more my mood, that's what it was. 2016 we was running around, beating us up in the club. I know she around for the money, but act like she loyal, I don't for the love. I'm so rich, get bored, might wake up, buy me a car just cuz. It's hard cause she spent the 5, my beauty cost me a dub. All my got BBLs, all my blood. I ain't with the rap beef Draco, for that by all my ops get touched. We never ran off on no park, but still be having our cut.
And now it's time to meet your Carthage College Firebirds. At forward, a 6'7 junior from Oswego East High School in Oswego, Illinois, number 10, Ryan Johnson. At guard, a 6'5 junior from Ripon High School in Ripon, Wisconsin, number 11, Riley Brooks. At guard, a 6'5 junior from Rock Canyon High School in Lone Tree, Colorado, number 12, Chris Schlesinger. At guard, a 6'3 senior from Oswego East High School in Oswego, Illinois, number 15, A.J. Johnson. And at guard, a 6'3 senior from Wakanda High School in Wakanda, Illinois, number 21, Griffin Dawn. The head coach of the Firebirds is Steve Jirakovic. Coach Jirakovic is assisted by Tyler Pierce, Josh Washburn, Brad Emmer, Noah Howard, and Quincy French.
And welcome one, welcome all. It's time for NCAA men's basketball action from Tarble Arena in Kenosha, Wisconsin, alongside Dan Pfeifer and Eric Elger. I'm Peter Ferreri. Head coach John Baines, his 13th year at the helm, with Blahout, Trellenberg, Smith, Aiden Boone, and of course, number 10, Vinny Ejalhungbeda. And as for Steve Jirakovic, Ryan Johnson, A.J. Johnson, the Johnson brothers, Riley Brooks, Griffin Dawn, and Chris Schlesinger getting the start at the 3 position today. That means you're going to have Antoine Nesbitt and A.J. Williams off the bench. And my goodness, the depth goes far for the Carthage College Firebirds. Poked away at the last second, and rebound coming away by the aforementioned Ejalhungbeda, who coach said, just call him Vinny.
It does help with a name like that, but I mean, he's someone that you got to keep on top of your mind because he is an important player for this Elmhurst team, second on the team in scoring and one of their leading rebounders.
Looks for 3 and nails it. Vinny with the trifecta, the 6'5 guard, a long 6'5", 3-0 early on for the Blue Jays. Griffin Dawn picks things up, 2-3 zone for Elmhurst. Ryan Johnson along the left side, older brother A.J. Johnson. We'll talk about the depth as the game progresses. Schlesinger getting the start. Brooks, 2 of the 5 are transfers in the past few years. And over to Griffin Dawn, easy layup on the baseline.
Ball moving well there. Everybody touched the basketball in that possession, and nice fake from Griffin Dawn. Get to the basket, easy layup.
At the top is Blahout, the 6'2 senior out of Wooddale, Illinois. Miscommunication for the Blue Jays, 20 to go on the shot clock, plenty of time. Under handoff is Aiden Boone out of Libertyville. Looking for three, side rotation, and why not? Seb Blahout, the pride of Lake Park. 2 3-pointers for the Blue Jays. They're up 6-2.
And right out of the gates, two great three-point shooters for the Blue Jays. Naja Hongbeda and Blahout both converting.
And possession going to that of the Blue Jays. And a hot start for Elmhurst. Again, had an opportunity to speak with head coach John Baines leading in. He knows how tough of a roster Carthage has. Another three just rims out. Riley Brooks comes away with the board. Coach Baines knows, though, that you will no rest for the weary once Carthage's bench starts coming into this game. Lauded that of a lot of the players for the Firebirds, including that, of course, Chris Schlesinger, the transfer, and, of course, Riley Brooks. He's like, we got to get an early lead. Don with the tip in. He goes, we got to get an early lead and try to force them into foul trouble. And again, he kind of mentioned, we know one of our advantages is the length of our Blue Jay team and the ability to out-rebound Carthage if the shots aren't falling.
Well, that's what you might think that going into the game, and then someone like Griffin Dawn always there to wipe up and clean up the offensive glass. And Dawn with the first 4 points of the Firebirds.
A.J. Johnson steps back for younger brother Ryan. Schlesinger takes a few steps and gets it. Coach Jarakovic thought there was a foul clamoring. Chatting with the officials today, Jason Shook, Ciola Clark III, and John Safronic.
And Schlesinger just so strong, able to go through any type of contact and doesn't complain either way, just takes it hard to the basket and lets it
Hand
drop.
in the face, no good, and offensive board underneath the basket. Blahout, right place, right time.
Yeah, just Firebirds couldn't figure out who was gonna come down with that rebound, and there's Blahout right there picking up the scraps.
Right now, Blahout, 10 points a game on average. Riley Brooks for three, back iron, no good. Blue Jays doing a stellar job so far with the momentum. Layup once again, oh, just a miss, and a late whistle by the officials for Blahout to go to the line.
They're gonna call it goaltending there.
My apologies. You are correct.
From what I saw, it was almost like Riley Brooks maybe just tugged the net just a little, and the ref's all over it.
Early 4-point lead for Carthage. The J term for Carthage starting soon. Did you ever take it? Did you even have that in school? I did not have such a thing as a J term.
Wasn't an option for me
Yeah.
either, no.
I probably would have taken it. I was I don't want to say a studious one. I won't give myself that much credit, but double team, ill-advised pass down low, nowhere to go. Jack Cherry out of Carmel, Indiana, coming away with the steal.
And defensive pressure early from the Blue Jays, causing turnovers, and Trellenberg, the leading scorer for the Blue Jays, showing you why he is dangerous.
Yeah, Dom Trellenberg out of Naz Academy getting another three-pointer. 9 out of the 13 points for Elmhurst by way of the long ball. And that is a good way to start. And another good thing to start, I'm a little hungry, so I know where I want to go after the game. Hopefully we get, I don't know if we get double cheese curds. It's an ice cream sundae, though, for the men. So, I mean, we already got a cheese curds coming our way, Eric. But Culver's one of the official sponsors.
Exactly. Attention Firebirds fans. At every Carthage athletic home event, you have the opportunity to win free Culver's coupons. You can walk away with a tasty treat like free cheese curds or a scoop of delicious custard. Please note, these coupons only valid at Culver's locations in Kenosha. Don't miss your chance to score big and win on the court with Culver's.
Hot start for the Blue Jays. 13-6 your score. Appreciate you being with us on the CCIW network.
We just saw Trellenberg knock down that three. He is 4th in the conference, 3-point percentage.
Dawn again looks for the right-handed layup. Ryan Johnson through a sea of baby blue. 4 blue jerseys around him, doesn't matter, swatted away. Layup with the left hand. Nesbitt coming away with the block as he kind of looks down the opponent, Aiden Boone. And an opportunity once again for the Firebirds. So we talk about the bench players. Nesbitt coming in, Williams coming in. But Griffin Dunn right now is saying, all right, I'll be your offense. I'll be your Huckleberry.
Exactly, and there Griffin Dunn, something he's always been good at is that footwork and using that Euro step to just cut into the lane and almost gets the basket to fall, but he'll take his trip to the free throw line after knocking down the first.
Griffin Dunn now 5 out of the 7 points, and you know that's another player, Coach Baines, as he just kind of went through. He goes, he's just the unsung hero for Carthage is Griffin Dunn, and so far that's the case. But we're singing his praises. Second free throw up and no good off the front of the rim. Defensive rebound by Talon Pearson.
See if Carthage can settle in a little defensively. It's been a hot start from the Blue Jays, and there he is.
Griffin Dunn, who else? Taking over the contest for Carthage. A.J. Johnson from way downtown can't come away with it. Dunn tried to get the rebound to no avail. And Westchester's own Talon Pearson again with the rebound.
That's always the chess match to do with the Johnson brothers. Do you sink low, try to get the cutter, or do you leave A.J. Johnson? And there's another 3 from Trellenberg, and 2 for 2 already this game, and you can see why he is electric from behind the arc.
Trellenberg, 18.5-point average on the season. My goodness. Nesbitt off the iron, off the top of the backboard, no good. 6 points right now for Trellenberg, 5 for Dawn. This is that hot start that Elmhurst was looking for, and boy, oh boy, do they got it.
Yeah, coming out, shooting the ball well, 4 of 8 from behind the arc already. Carthage hasn't connected yet, and you gotta think that early on here, Elmhurst gotta like what they've seen, spreading the ball around and knock down open shots.
6+ into the contest. It's been all Blue Jays. Man defense right now for Carthage. Williams tries to float it away. Schlesinger off to the near wing. Left shoulder brace for one, Talon Pearson as well. He fires up a 3, hand in the face. Nesbitt comes away with a rebound.
Really good defense there from the Firebirds, forcing a tough shot.
Nesbitt from long range. As mentioned, Antoine Nesbitt coming back from missing his entire redshirted senior year, or I should say from his senior year. This is redshirted senior year. A starter his junior year, and a charge called against the Blue Jays, favoring that as Schlesinger. That's going to be a number 4, E.J. Marshall. Or mark that, Jeffrey Williams, I should say.
And something you'll see from the Blue Jays is they have a pretty young roster. There's a freshman just picked up the foul there, but a surprise for them this season has been Luke Smith, and he's made a huge contribution for the Blue Jays early on as he is 3rd in the team in scoring.
No, you bring up a great point, a very, very good point in that. So it was indeed Luke Smith called. I looked at the wrong board, don't mind me. But one thing that Coach Baines said, as Jabe Haith is in the game, he's like, look out for the future of Jabe Haith with this Carthage program. He's like, yeah, they're an elderly team in terms of how, junior and senior upperclassmen heavy they are. But he's like, Jabe Haith, such a good player as well for Carthage. We know when he's in the game, can't, forget that he's there.
And he's been a dynamic player off the bench for Coach Steve Jurkovic, and gets good rebounds and can get to his own bucket as well.
Bounced around, poked at the last minute by Brooks. Let's see where the speed comes into play for the Firebirds. Brooks, a little bit of contact, floats it from the free throw line and hits the bottom of the bucket. 16-11, 4-0 run right now for Carthage.
Riley Brooks doing a nice job as Coach Jurkovic thought there was a foul there. Really working through the contact net. It seems like it's been a trend here early as the refs letting them play.
Haith trying to lock down Jeff Williams, and Haith with the rebound. So we've said his name a few times. Brooks going to be fouled on his way off to the right wing. That on E.J. Marshall. His first personal.
That's something Elmhurst is able to do is you see 3 subs come onto the floor there. They really can shift a lot of guys around. They got a lot of experienced guys to go along with those freshmen.
Brooks finds Schlesinger baseline. He's matched up one-on-one against Boone. Out for Haith, pulls up the free throw line. Jabe Haith earning that additional playing time that we've seen throughout the past few weeks.
Yeah, coming in, averaging 4 points a game, but it seems like it's been an uptick recently, and as you mentioned, Coach Jurkovic trusting him a lot more, some more minutes here as the season progresses.
10 seconds. Luke Smith out of Addison Trail looking for where to go with it. Now with 4, he's matched up against Schlesinger. Nowhere to go. Tipped by Brooks. Shot clock violation. The defense clamping down for Carthage.
There, Luke Smith tried to go to work, but ran into the wall, otherwise known as Chris Schlesinger, and just the body of number 12 stopped Luke Smith in his tracks and had nowhere to go, and Carthage gets a shot clock violation.
Schlesinger out for Nesbitt. That 2-3 zone again for the Blue Jays. Riley Brooks, quick trigger. Haith with the offensive board. Keeps it himself, floated with the right hand, and Jabe Haith feeling it.
I love that from Jabe Haith because it seemed like he was going to dribble it back out, but saw an opportunity. Another soft touch there from Haith.
It's one of the players, Eric, you and I have spoken about. You saw flashes early on, and a foul going to be, I believe, on Griffin Dawn. Let's make sure that that's what the call indeed is going to be, and it is? Nope, it's on Brooks, excuse me. You know what, I even put the glasses on and swore he had 2 fingers up, but what do I know? I'm far away. 16-15, Elmhurst leads in the Battle of the Birds by 1. Looking for the inbound, Luke Smith. Reset of the shot clock to 20.
And after giving some threes up early, Carthage really clamped down on defense these last few possessions.
A.J. Johnson, staunch defense. The pass over the top, up with the left hand, just misses. Volleyed away. Griffin Dawn with the rebound. Strong pass to the right side. Haith, 3, bang! Timeout needed by Elmhurst. It was 16-7. It is an 11-0 run for the Carthage College Firebirds, and we are now going to head to Dan Pfeifer for his first half report. Dan, what have you heard?
Well, and you mentioned it, the tenor of the game just changed in the last couple minutes with this Carthage run. You see the energy on the sideline right now. It was a complete shift of momentum when Carthage got that last bucket. In particular, the energy right now from Steve Jurakovic's team, absolutely outstanding. Meanwhile, on the other side, you got a fast start from Elmhurst in terms of shooting the basketball from outside. They were 4 of 7 at one point from three-point land when they had that advantage. But now the tables have turned. Carthage has gotten some stops, and now that they're hitting some outside shots, this game has a completely different feel.
Thank you for that, Dan. And it's all about momentum. We know that with any sport. But right now, Elmhurst, they wanted the quick start. They needed the hot start. They got that hot start, Eric. However, the run right now for Carthage is just something else. And we mentioned it's a lot, in big part led by Jabe Haith.
Yeah, and how about Griffin Dawn and Haith being the early offensive firepower for the Firebirds? Not something we've seen a lot this season. And I think with Jabe Haith, what you saw there in that last three-point attempt is that when he got involved early, made those first couple of shots, that builds your confidence. And so when that ball came to him from Griffin Dawn, I think he was had nothing but confidence in going up and firing it. And yeah, great start from number 20 in white.
Up to the right wing, or left wing, excuse me. Quick turnaround jumper, the lefty. Oh, such a smooth shot by Trellenberg.
Saw that right out of the timeout, got an action there for number 1. Seemed like he ran through 4 or 5 screens to get open.
Left
knocks
hand.
it in.
Griffin Dawn. Eric, he's up to 7 points already. And again, you just talk about expectations. Dawn, can he score? Yes. He's averaging 4.5 points a game, so he has already exceeded his season average. But again, when called upon, oh, look at the dish by Dawn down low by A.J. Johnson. And are they going to call a foul on Johnson?
AJ laughing at himself for missing that one, but.
All right, looks like it's going to be against.
Would have been why he
maybe
he was a little bit off his center of gravity there. Got the nudge from number 0, Blahoot.
Yeah. Johnson up and good. Happy belated birthday, by the way, A.J. Johnson, just a few days ago. Also one Nate Montgomery. So both of them celebrating their birthday this past week. When's your birthday, Eric?
Mine's in September, but I think those December birthdays at the end of the month are tough for some of those guys.
Yeah, they always get, when you're like a kid, 8, 9 years old or whatever. Oh, sorry, it's your birthday right around the holidays. So I kind of shot up, rolls around no good, Riley Brooks. I half feel bad for my daughter. Her birthday is perennially on Easter.
Yeah,
and
that's
so,
another one.
Yep, so this year it's the day before Easter. So it's like, setting the precedent. Well, you'll get your little Easter basket the day after your birthday, and then she's 7, so she had her birthday on Easter another year, and it just really threw people off. And with that being said, Riley Brooks, 4 points, a 4-point lead for Carthage. A huge run of 17-4. Oh, crisp passing inside by Elmhurst. Much needed elite passing, and that's what brought them to this solid record so far. Again, they're 8-3 overall, 1-0 in conference play, 2-3 on the road.
And there, Griffin Dawn just gambled trying to get a steal, not able to get it, and that's what opened up the lane for number 40, Boone.
So after that, an opportunity now for Elmhurst to tie or take the lead. Again, we mentioned head coach John Baines, his 13th season, assisted by John Chang, Melissa Schwab, Aiden Chang, and grad assistant of Shane Miller. A youthful squad by Elmhurst, so a lot to look forward to in not only this season but the future. Pump fake up, rolls around, swatted up in the air, and Ryan Johnson coming away with the rebound. The junior forward from Oswego poked away, and that should stay. Oh, it's going to go in the opposite direction. Thought that might have been staying with Carthage, but nonetheless, Haith checks out, Nesbitt in. And again, Eric, you've expounded on it so far, the depth of Carthage, that you have Haith and Nesbitt and A.J. Williams as your bench players. Nesbitt 2 years ago, or before the injuries, an all-conference level player starting for Carthage.
Yeah, he was one of those guys that played entire games nearly.
Volleyed up again, and Trellenberg, he's just shades, he is chirping at the Carthage bench as he is just continually out-jumping Carthage. Griffin Dawn the inside, the pump flake, almost had it pulled away. Riley Brooks, baseline 3, rims out. Dawn gets it again. Resetting up the offense. Ryan Johnson's about to set the screen for Nesbitt. Does so successfully. Nesbitt 1v1 against Smith, and nowhere to go. Tied at 24.
Ill advised from Nesbitt, trying to force it into Ryan Johnson. Wasn't there. Trellenberg takes it away, and
Three-pointer rims out by Luke Smith. Carthage a chance once again to regain the lead. They were up 24-20 just a few moments ago. Ryan Johnson matched up by Trellenberg. Nesbitt, three, no good. Who else? Griffin Dawn. Brooks, his chance for the trifecta, and he gets them all.
you got to expect the Firebirds, such a good shooting team, that if you keep firing up there, they'll fall eventually. And now just 2 of 11 from the three-point land, but Riley Brooks knocking down a big one.
Trellenberg already falling away after that shot attempt, getting back on defense. Brooks and Trellenberg going to be called for the foul. And Brooks just kind of threw it up off the right hip, and that was a smart play because he is now going to the line for 2, and one Riley Brooks averaging 18 points a game. He is an .842 free throw percentage shooter. That's pretty good.
That's 4th in the conference. So you only got 3 guys shooting them better. You got to feel confident for the Firebirds. And I do like that from Riley Brooks, is he saw that Trellenberg would just backpedal and knew he wouldn't really be able to stop to take the charge. And it wasn't like he even was trying to make that shot, as if he was just trying to get the contact. So he knew, especially a player like Riley Brooks, you're like, man, if I can just get to the free throw line, it's almost automatic 2-point.
Second attempt for Brooks, good. Reminder, stick around for the halftime show. Coach Jarakovic will join Dan Pfeifer immediately at the onset of halftime, and then Coach Baines will talk to sideline reporter Fife before the start of the second half. Quick update to the out-of-town scoreboard. North Park with a 1-point lead, 18-17. Illinois over North Central, and 17-16 your score. Carroll over Wesleyan early on in afternoon play. Up and good. 4 points now for Aiden Boone.
See, Riley Brooks there, looked like he forced that shot a little bit, and the miss leaves a easy opportunity for the fast break for the Blue Jays.
Quiet afternoon for Ryan Johnson. Antoine Nesbitt says, because I'm making long-range shots. 32-26 for Carthage.
Well, you can see, it looks like on the scouting report, Ryan Johnson gets the ball. You saw Nesbitt's defender come after him, and Ryan Johnson just said, hey, fine, I'll find Nesbitt, and there's a response from Elmhurst.
Well, and it shows the depth for Carthage, that, you take away one, there's a second. You take away 2, there's a third. And then Griffin Dawn, not needed offensively, just showing up. Nesbitt tried back-to-back threes. Ryan Johnson thought he was held. Coach Jarakovic clamoring for a whistle, doesn't get it. Trellenberg, a few pump fakes, nowhere to go. Sidewinder of a shot by Boone, can't get it to fall. Brooks from forever, can't get it to fall. Pace now slowing down just a hair. 3:15 to go until half, 32-29. First non-conference matchup after the holiday break. Good pass down low. Pearson able to deliver. Elmhurst back to within 1.
Nice job by Pearson, able to seal his man and provide a easy pass and bucket for the Blue Jays.
Nesbitt with the pump fake from the elbow. Old school elbow 2, and Nesbitt heating up 7 points.
And it feels like the Blue Jays, so much attention to the other offensive options for the Firebirds that Nesbitt looks like he's going to have to get some of his, and he's more than willing to do that right now.
Trellenberg frustrated after that shot. Ryan Johnson, the big man, with the big 3. 6-point lead for Carthage over Elmhurst. A heck of a run for Carthage after trailing 16-7.
Not many times you take a look and there's 2 minutes left to go in the game, and Ryan Johnson just took his first shot, but he makes it count.
Trellenberg blocked, threw up the hands, didn't get the call. Williams, trifecta. 40-31, Carthage and Fuego. Timeout called by Elmhurst. First basket of the afternoon for A.J. Williams, and Birds up by 9.
Yeah, it's funny. You saw Riley Brooks there leading the fast break, and he was just pointing to A.J. Williams like, get it to this guy. And boy, he knew what he was talking about. So Brooks doing a little coaching on the floor, finding his teammates whatever way he can, and we know A.J. Williams has got that confidence to knock down, walk into that three.
What a run by the Firebirds. Again, trailing 16-7 for a good portion early on in this contest. And next thing you know, Elmhurst now 1 out of their last 6 from the field, and taking advantage of it are the Firebirds.
And exactly, we mentioned that the rebounds are going to be a big part of this story, and so far so good for the Firebirds. And after kind of taking that punch from all those three-pointers early, Carthage has really settled in defensively and made it tough for Elmhurst in each possession here.
Almost poked away by A.J. Johnson. I don't know if they're calling the foul or if they're just saying out of bounds. So it was poked away by A.J. Johnson. Arm kind of extended by Jack Cherry to not allow Johnson to get there. Johnson thought, hey, that's kind of a foul. He impeded my way to the ball.
Well, yeah, that's the type of foul that really has not been called this game so far.
Trellenberg from the elbow. Can't find the bucket. Again, throwing his hands up. No contact there, so just a bit of frustration settling in. He's having the shots. They're just not falling.
He's so confident as a shooter. He's shocked when he misses one of those. Unfortunately for the Firebirds, he has been lately.
Williams to Nesbitt. He's open in the paint. Contact. Are they going to call it on the ground? They are. So Nesbitt was kind of sliding in with 68 seconds to go until halftime.
Well, that had the makings of a down the lane dunk there from Nesbitt. I was starting to get out of my seat, but
the highlight reel offensively for the Firebirds over the years.
Exactly. E.J. Marshall decided I better get this foul here before I'm on the highlight.
Bouncing in for Dawn. Contact. Are they going to call it offensively? They do. Right call. E.J. Marshall, his feet were planted. Dawn went that one extra step. First foul on Griffin Dawn. 8-0 run currently for Carthage. A scoreless 2 minutes for Elmhurst. Trellenberg leads the way offensively, 10 points.
I was just going to say, and Coach Jurkovic pleading his case. I mean, Griffin Dawn really just had his back to him. It wasn't like an arm extended, and that's what he's trying to say is that how do you, he's just backing down. It's basketball here.
Williams almost comes away with the steal. Since the first bucket of the game, quiet afternoon for Adjahung Beta. Dawn dunk! Killing it with the dawn of the dead. 42-31, double-digit lead for Carthage.
He looked like a cornerback intercepting a pass there. Just basketball stuck to his hands and then able to flush it on the other end.
Stolen away by Griffin Dawn with 4, with 3, with 2. Ryan Johnson. Griffin Dawn slowed a bit, doesn't matter. Carthage up 42-31 at the end of quarter number 1, or half number 1, I should say. What an exciting turn of events, Eric, in the first half of action.
Exactly, and how about Griffin Dawn? Back-to-back steals, and he gets a dunk on his first one, and man, Griffin Dawn, one of those players that doesn't always get all the blades, but he is doing a little bit of everything so far and has had a huge impact against the Blue Jays so far.
All right, now heading over to sideline reporter Dan Pfeifer, head coach Steve Jurkovic. Dan?
Steve Jurkovic, 10-0 run to end the half, including the emphatic dunk. the three-point shooting didn't get going until late in the half, but once it did, it seemed like you guys took over.
Got the ball up and down the floor. We did our part on the defensive end, is what we preached for the last 2 days. Run them off the three-point line. They got shooters everywhere, and we left them open early, getting looks for guys that we didn't want to give up shots for. Once we settled in, we got up into our offense and got what we wanted out of it. If we run our stuff and we execute correctly, we'll get whatever shot we want. When we take early looks and we don't get the ball side to side, bad stuff's going to happen because of it.
So you're feeling like the defense is what set up the offense?
Defense sets up our offense. It always does. We're an elite defensive basketball team when we want to. But you're allowing them to post up, not running them off the three-point line, and let them get to the offensive boards, not a winning recipe.
Steve, thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Dan, for that. We'll take a timeout when we come back. The halftime report, 42-31 Carthage, an outstanding run to end half number 1 on the CCIW network.
Final
And welcome back. Halftime report here on the CCIW Network. For Eric Elger and Dan Pfeifer, I'm Peter Ferreri. Let's roll through some of the statistics that brought you to this point in half number one. Once again, brought to you, as always, by the Pullman Auto Stores of the greater Kenosha area.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, we highlighted it before the game. I mean, the rebounding margin +8 for the Firebirds. So they've done a nice job of getting some second chance opportunities with 6 offensive rebounds, but really a big part of it too is that Elmhurst, when they miss those 3-pointers, it's Carthage grabbing it and going down on the other end. And it's great to see. Again, you talk about the depth of the Firebirds, and they're right at the top. 17 bench points to just 5, and you got the bench mob of Jabe Haith, Antoine Nesbitt, A.J. Williams, and both Williams and Nesbitt both have been starters this season. So,
yeah.
I mean, when you can pull them off the bench and get 17 points off that, that's huge.
Well, and what you and I always talk about on the calls, it's not just the present, but it's the future. And we got players like Jabe Haith that are able to step up. You know, they still got a year after this one. It's not just the seniors. It's, you know, the rest of the class. Griffin Dawn, 4 out of 5. I mean, just lethal prowess, what he's able to do. Antoine Nesbitt, a perennial starter. And here's this thing I'm going to throw out there in favor of what Carthage has done. They're a selfless team, Eric. It's literally who do you need to start on what day at what time, and they're all in, and that's a huge thing as we look now. Trellenberg, 4 for 10 from the field. He started out hot for Elmhurst and then started to cool off, and you saw that frustration start to settle in a bit.
Yeah, defense really stepped up after that initial rush in the first half, and you talked about being unselfish. How about someone like Ryan Johnson, who coming into this year, one of the best players in the conference and still is one of the best players in the conference, but this afternoon, Firebirds haven't needed him. He's taken 1 shot, 1 3-pointer, knocked it down. So when you got players like Ryan Johnson only needing to take 1 shot offensively, you know you're getting it from other places.
All right, we're going to take a second now. Dan Pfeifer, the sideline, with head coach for Elmhurst, Coach John Baines. Dan?
Coach Baines, it was a 3-point game the entire first half until that 10-0 run at the end of the half by the Firebirds. Is there an easy answer for what changed?
Yeah, we didn't get back on D, and we didn't grab rebounds. I mean, it's all rebounding and transition right there, and we got to find a way to get to the free throw line. We didn't shoot a free throw.
Right now, the rebounding edge for Carthage is 22-14. What can you do to get to the boards better?
Go harder.
Sounds good. Thank you, Coach Baines.
All right, thank you for that. Dan, 42-31, your score, simple and sweet. But again, there's no other thing you got to do. You got to push through. If you're Elmhurst right now, you got to find a way to get more into it. The second chance points aren't quite there, and that is in regards to rebounding.
Yeah, and I mean, we laughed a little bit about Coach Baines and just his brevity. He said you got to score more than the other team and just go harder. So we'll see what he was able to say to the Blue Jays because, yeah, really Carthage dictated the game there at the end as we getting the rebounds. And also another thing to go along with Griffin Dawn was taking the ball away from the Blue Jays left and right there as well. So a little bit of a slip up at the end of the half, but we know that the shooters that the Blue Jays have, they all can shoot from outside the arc. So they're a team that can get hot early and erase the deficit just like that.
42-31. Your score. Again, appreciate you being with us on the CCIW network. You know, if you combine what Carthage has done, slow start, but able to pick things up, and Elmhurst, give them credit in the sense that, yes, they're trailing 42-31, but they could have let that run really let things get out of hand, Eric. They didn't. They calmed down a bit. They slowed things down. Although they didn't produce a lot offensively in the final few minutes of that first half, they still at least slowed down Carthage to have an even bigger lead.
Yeah, and Carthage is really looking like when Haith made that 3-pointer, it felt like all the momentum was on the Firebird side, and for the Blue Jays to be, down 11, but like I said, there's really no lead that Carthage should feel safe with when you got the Blue Jays who are so lethal from behind the arc. So you got to expect more from Trellenberg in this second half. You know he is a gamer for this team, and expect him to really put forth a tough effort here in the second half.
And Trellenberg, as mentioned, you kind of see off the left side of your screen, having a long conversation right now with the officials, trying to say, hey, watch for this. They're kind of grabbing at my non-dominant hand when I'm going up, and the officials, okay, we'll take a look. So never hurts to work the officials a little bit, right, Eric?
I mean, especially because Carthage just had 2 fouls there, 2 fouls in the first half. So, I mean, credit to that defense playing so clean, and Coach Bain says they got to get to the free throw line here in the second half.
Riley Brooks on the court with the Johnson brothers, Schlesinger and Griffin Dawn. Your starting 5 for the opening half of action. Starting the second half in Griffin Dawn. Just misses. Ryan Johnson gets the swat from Schlesinger. Riley Brooks just misses, and good positioning that time around by Vinny.
And Riley Brooks hasn't heated up really yet this game, just 3 of 10 from the floor, but another player that just takes a couple in a row and he starts catching fire.
Griffin Dawn, of course, who else at this juncture of the game, coming in, getting the paw in the way and forcing the hand. Can the big Johnson make it? Just off the back of the rim, no good. Griffin Dawn, who else?
It's like he's got a magnet for that basketball. He just knows where to be.
Ryan Johnson, the spinneroonie baseline and layup with the right hand. 13-point lead for Carthage.
And Ryan Johnson saying, you might have slowed it down, or really, I was just being unselfish there in that first half, but I'm here in the second half.
Tipped away again by Griffin Dawn. Layup again by
Griffin Dawn.
Timeout called by Elmhurst. It's the Griffin Dawn show. It's 9 points, but it's everything he's doing. Eric, my goodness. Multiple steals, layups, rebounds. I mean, literally everything on the court.
I mean, he's, as you mentioned, he's doing a little bit of everything. Rebound, you just see offensive rebound. He's one of the best easily in the conference, and to go along with 2 assists, 2 steals, he's got a block as well, and man, he is a nightmare for the Blue Jays, and I'm sure Coach Baines is going to have to say something like, hey, we got to do better on number 21, because right now the stars of Carthage, quote-unquote stars, we'll say, Johnson and Brooks, they really haven't had to do much because Griffin Dawn has just wrecked the Blue Jays so far this game.
I mean, for all intents and purposes, Dawn right now 2 rebounds away already from a double-double, unless they're taking that away. But either way, he's a few rebounds away from a double-double already. And as you mentioned, the assists, the steals, a block. Christmas is over, but a partridge in a pear tree. I mean, it's 12 days of Christmas. You're a teacher, you know things. Is it before Christmas or is it after Christmas? I would assume before, the 12 days leading up to the Christmas.
I would assume
okay.
so.
I got to really do more history work, I tell you.
Although you bring up a point, I don't really know. You just asked me that.
Yeah.
Because they were celebrating 12 days. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, our friend John Voinovich is celebrating Christmas this week. So, you know, based on culturally where you're speaking, I mean, we're mid-Christmas season for some people. Did you put up a tree this year?
Of course.
Okay. Is the tree still up?
It is. It's just hard to keep those ornaments on with a 3- and 5-year-old.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Got to put the nice ones up top.
Our strategy, not to give you any advice, because clearly I'll never win the Parent of the Year award. We ended up getting our little one her own little tree and said, that's yours. You touch that. We went to the dollar store, got a bunch of little ornaments that if they break, don't care, but don't touch Mommy's tree.
It's good strategy there.
So she has learned early on survival. And we do have an update from one executive director, John Voinovich. The 12 days is indeed after Christmas. He would know. He's smarter than all of us. So, history lesson from Carthage. J-term starting soon. Backing in, good layup there. Strength personified from Adidjan Beta.
He's another player that coming into tonight's second leading scorer has been quiet offensively early.
Ryan Johnson hopping into the lane. The Swiss Army knife along with Griffin Dawn, outside, inside, and strength around.
And how about that? I mean, if they're the Blue Jays, you're like, all right. And slowing down some of these other Riley Brooks. They're slowing down Dawn a little bit. Now here's Ryan Johnson. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that guy.
Yeah. The spin around Schellenberg. Good. That's the player you want to get going if you're Elmhurst.
That's just the tip of the cap there from Griffin Dawn. Some better offense always beats great defense, and Trellenberg showing you why. There, Brooks finding a little seam. Soft jumper there to pick back the 2 points that Trellenberg just scored.
A little bit of contact by Johnson against Vinny. The turnaround against Brooks. The miss. Schlesinger with the rebound. Brooks pushing the pace. Looks right side. A.J. Johnson. Happy birthday! His second bucket of the contest. And the Birds almost up by 20.
Another player, he hasn't made a bucket until right there. And Riley Brooks, great vision to see him in the corner all alone.
A little bit of a mishandle, nowhere to go, looks for the cut. The pump fake, Boone takes it himself, hook with the right hand, just misses. Flipped over for Trellenberg. Baseline and good. Blahout finally comes away with it. Coach saying, look, when he shoots, it just finds a way in. He said, I'm really proud of what he does, and what he does, Blahout, it sets up the other players. He goes, looks, when Blahout's on, it sets up Boone to be our stretch big that we need. He said, and our most improved player is Vinny. He said, with what Vinny's able to do, and he said it all starts somewhere, and it smarts, of course, with, you know, what certain players are able to do. He said, Luke Smith, really happy what he's done as a freshman. He's like, he's not your normal freshman point guard. He's like, that's why we know the future of this team is so bright. Pulling up for a three. Can't get it. Schlesinger with the rebound.
Yeah, Blahout coming into this game, they're leading assist man, and something that Carthage has done a nice job is really quieting Luke Smith, coming in 10 points a game. Right now, finding himself scoreless.
Brooks off the front of the rim, no good. You know, speaking as well, Coach Baines said about Dom Trellenberg. Foul going to be against Griffin Dawn, but he's like, look, he goes, for as good of a shooter, he said, as Dom is, he said he's taken his rebounding game to the next level. So expect him to, you know, add that element into the contest, and we've seen just that, and believe we have a timeout on the court. Not sure if that's an official timeout. Okay, previous play, Eric, under review.
I'm trying to figure out, was there a foul called on Griffin Dawn there? I'm not sure, but yeah, Coach Jurkovic looking to have the Stripes look at this one again.
And it looks like Dan Pfeifer, if you look at this shot, I mean, how good your sideline reporter when he's literally in the huddle with the officials. Dan, what do you got for us?
The ball last before it went out of bounds, trying to determine possession right here. By the way, while we've got you, Coach Baines, more descriptive in the huddle than he was with us at halftime when it came to the issues coming to rebounding. He said, hey, you've got to get in there and you've got to bang. You've got to hustle and you've got to focus on getting to that basketball. You can see the look on his face when this team gives up a rebound and no one's going up for the ball. He's not happy with their effort on the rebounding end right now.
All right, thanks for that, Dan. And we kind of see on the replay there, if you want to stick around and get an official word with what it's going to be, and then we'll keep your mic hot and you can just tell us what it's going to be while they're deciding that. And we're going to get back to Dan momentarily to get the official word. And Dan, what do you got for us, my friend? You're still on. What did they see? I think he might, he's going to message it to us. Okay, so fine, does the job nonetheless, but it looks like possession nonetheless is going to stay with Elmhurst. All right, so it's inconclusive. So thank you for that, Dan. So again, they're reporting that the replay inconclusive, so they're going to stay with the call. I was about to say on the pitch, soccer season over. Not for you though. You're a soccer head. You're a football head year round. 3-pointer. Boone can't find it. Brooks with the rebound.
Absolutely. You got the World Cup coming up here, hosted in North America. Let's focus on some basketball here in Carthage, man. Playing fantastic basketball here, and Blue Jays have their work cut out. They're going to try to cut into this lead and get back in the game.
A.J. Johnson squares up for three, just hits the side of the rim, no good. 16-point lead for Carthage. Long way to go, especially when you have crisp backdoor passing to Trellenberg.
And Trellenberg working off those screens, and Carthage just ran into a little bit too much traffic of their own and couldn't stick with number one.
Dawn kicks out. Brooks can't leave him open, and that's why. The defense is now having to pay attention, rightfully so, Eric, to Griffin Dawn, and it's leaving the likes of lethal sharpshooter Riley Brooks wide open.
Just throw another tally on Griffin Dawn's stat line as he picks up another assist.
Timeout on the court after a nice short-range shot by Talon Pearson, who floats one up from two. 56-41 your score. And while we have a minute, in case anybody was wondering, Eric, how can somebody apply to Carthage?
Apply to Carthage, take the next step in your educational journey with Carthage College. Admissions process is simple, whether you're an undergraduate, transfer, graduate, or international student. Visit carthage.edu/apply for details or contact our admissions team at 800-351-4058 or admissions@carthage.edu. We look forward to welcoming you to the Firebird family.
56-41 your score, just under 14 to go. For Eric Elger and Dan Pfeifer, I'm Peter Ferreri. Riley Brooks looking for the inbounds. Next whistle will have your out-of-town scoreboard update. It's brought to you by the CCIW Network, the newly founded network for the CCIW Conference, which of course justifiable, one of the best Division III conferences in the nation. When you have A.J. Johnson, you just know sometimes it's going to go in, and that was it.
And they're working through Griffin Dawn there. You can see how uncomfortable Aiden Boone is defending that far above the arc, and two-man game between Dawn and A.J. Johnson finds number 15 wide open.
Nesbitt, the Johnsons, Dawn, and Brooks in the contest. It has been elite passing for Carthage to give them the 18-point lead. Johnson almost into Dawn, but smart job getting in the lane by Pearson. Off the side of the rim, no good. Another rebound. Who else? Griffin Dawn.
And again, that's what I'm talking about, is Trellenberg gets a nice look, but if the Blue Jays miss it, shoot early, it just goes back to Carthage, and they can just kind of continue to work, use their offense, and just continue to batter these Blue Jays.
From the baseline, just misses for Brooks. Neither team in any sort of foul trouble, both as a team or individually speaking. So things to play out in real time. And, you know, if you go back to Carthage's only loss against Illinois Wesleyan, or in conference play, we should say, that was one of the issues, Eric, is they got into foul trouble early and had to come back in that one, forced it to overtime. The left-handed layup, no good, and they're going to call a late foul against Carthage. And so that is the first foul on A.J. Johnson. Coach Jarakovic pleading his case, where was the call? But nonetheless, the 77% free throw shooter Trellenberg will be at the line.
Yeah, it was interesting. I'm not sure where that foul occurred.
Well, I was just going to say, you know, if we miss both, we might walk away from this afternoon with a free curd and a free custard. And that's where you just go through the drive-through line twice. I mean, I am shameless when it comes to that.
Or maybe just wear one of those glasses with a fake mustache, you know?
Oh, well, we had it in theory. Hopes dashed, fans crying, children weeping. Nesbitt driving, steal. Marshall, contact, layup and good. Lead back to, or down to 15. A.J. Williams and Haith in the contest now. Speed lineup for Carthage. Nesbitt into Johnson. Haith, point blank floater with the right hand. There's that passing personified yet again.
Great recognition by Haith. His defender was just sleeping, and he just sprints to the paint, and Ryan Johnson said, here you go. Easy bucket for number 20.
Paulson, the turnaround floater with the right hand, answers right back. Similar games between Haith and Taylor Pearson. And a foul called as A.J. Johnson was trying to cross midcourt. That one will be on E.J. Marshall.
And you're down 15. Try to intensify the ball pressure on A.J. Johnson. You'll live with a foul like that if you're Coach Baines, because you gotta force things to happen here, because just let Carthage continue to run their offense. Had a hard time stopping it all game long.
Mishandled, thrown off the ground. Elmhurst with possession. Opportunity to come in for it. Fun story about Coach Baines is he's like, I'm not afraid to do corny things to motivate the team and, get them where I think they need to go mentally, not just the physical part of the game. And, he shared a story, rebound by Nesbitt, which I'll share. I think it's pretty important, is he said, when one of my daughters was a baby, as Williams goes up, misses the shot, offensive board, Johnson swiped away, still on the ground, and they're going to call a foul, as looking around in disbelief as E.J. Marshall looked like he gave a nudge to Johnson. But the story goes he just walked into practice and put his toddler in the middle of the court and put the baby bottle a few feet away and didn't say a word and let the baby crawl over to the bottle and start feeding itself. And he said, too often, three-pointer up, no good, Haith offensive rebound. He said, too often we expect people to do things for us. Hand the baby the bottle. He's like, but a good parent learns that there's times where you have to let them figure out how to go get the bottle themselves. He's like, you have to figure out when to go get the ball yourselves. I can't always draw up the perfect play. As Haith gets it off and couldn't find the bucket, I can't always drop the perfect play to make sure it gets in the basket or to get you the touch. Sometimes you got to go get the touch your own. And I thought that was a fun story to share. You see the makings of this team, has the wherewithal to get there. Shots just haven't fallen. In half number two, a little bit of a travel for E.J. Marshall.
Yeah, interesting story. I can't say I've seen that in the coaching handbook before, but I mean, someone as tenured as Coach Baines is, we mentioned his 13th season. And
just at this stop,
Oh, yeah, right. And just always has a very competitive team. I mean, they've had some decorated CCIW players throughout his reign here at Elmhurst. And, yeah, an interesting tactic, and kudos to him for sharing that.
Sussinger forces it out to Ryan Johnson. Johnson penetrates, contact, floats up right hand, back iron, no good. Coach Baines saying that wouldn't be as successful as he is without the support of his wife. He's like, dinner's always fun. We'll go out, hey, we're not talking about basketball within 5 minutes. He's like, my wife may say, we need a new 5 for next season. Let's start recruiting.
Oh, you gotta love that. Wife knows best.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's a very pleasant conversation I had yesterday with Coach Baines. Always thankful when coaches have an opportunity to share a few minutes and a few stories that, to add to the broadcast. Johnson up for the free throw, good. Earlier today, the Elmhurst women's program defeated the Carthage women's program. So a doubleheader of CCIW action. Ryan Johnson up for the second. Nails it.
And if you're Carthage here, I mean, this is the part of the game where it can go two ways. You can let Elmhurst get back into this game, or you can extend that lead and put this game to bed. So see which way Firebirds go.
Foul and one, falling away, dropping the hammer, Luke Smith. That's how you start chipping away with it. Smith's first bucket of the afternoon. Comes at as perfect a time as any. Again, chip away at that lead. You always want to be backed within that 10 mark with 4 minutes to go. And one free throw up and good.
And look at Elmhurst. They started, I believe, 4 of 7 from the three-point line. Right now, just 5 of 19. So those three-point attempts have dried up, and they struggle to find where they're getting their offense from.
Johnson baseline, he's double teamed. Nesbitt, Schlesinger, wide open. AJ Williams, the phenomenal one. Again, all the options for Carthage. You can't stop them all, and that's the circumstance right there. 66-49. Now time for our official second half report with sideline reporter Dan Pfeifer. Dan?
You know, one of the things you notice when you take a look at the Carthage bench is that Steve Jarakovic is oftentimes kneeling in front of his bench players, making teaching points when he has the opportunity. And it has shown up in this game. Carthage dominating in terms of bench scoring right now, and that's also allowing them to use their depth to their advantage in terms of fast break points right now. 18-6 in one regard, 19-11 in another. At this point, Carthage doing everything they need to do with all of their players on the floor, no matter whether they were starters or bench players, to take control of this game.
Thank you so much for that, Dan. And, you know, Eric, you growing up with Steve, was he always that calm, you know, back in the playground days? And
I mean, he was not he was not some fiery competitor as a player. I'm like, you know, he was our quarterback in middle school, and he was a great quarterback in high school, but he was always the calm, cool, collected leader. It wasn't really that fiery side come out until he got to the coaching ranks, but, I mean, make no mistake, he's one of the best competitors I've ever known. Obviously, he's really translated that into a successful career, both playing and coaching here at Carthage, and it has been fun to see him grow into this role even more as the head coach, and fits him nicely, I would say.
Well, he just, again, congratulations again, Dad, for a second time a few weeks ago, so maybe he'll use that baby bottle story with one of his players.
Try that one out next week,
Yeah. Another fun one Coach Baines shared is he said, I wanted my team to get more physical, so I hung some hammers. Oh, block from behind, that should be goaltending, and it is. Nesbitt saying he thought he got contact, but point being he hung some hammers from the bus when the players got in, and they had to like kind of watch their heads walk into their seat because he's like, we got to drop the hammer. He's like, and when we started driving, I'm like, okay, now take the hammers down. That could cause some damage. He goes, but the players got the point when they walked in and saw hammers hanging from the bus.
You're wondering, he's mentioned that he's not been happy with the rebounding so far this game, and see what he comes up with to try and motivate his team to get better on the glass, because right now, as we said, Carthage really dominating that facet.
Haith leaning in with the three, airs it off to the right, not quite the shot he wants. Antoine Nesbitt saying he got raked in the eyes and is covering his left eye currently. No foul was called, so that's why he kind of handed it off to Haith and started walking to the bench right away. Haith also out of the game. Johnson's, Dawn, Schlesinger, and Brooks, your starting five back in the lineup.
Hopefully he'll be all right, because, basketball not easy with two eyes, let alone just one.
Pulling up from the free throw line, smooth as silk, is Viniad. 9 points now for the sophomore. Lead down to 13.
That's the type of shot you got to like from Vinny there. Just early in the shot clock, able to carve out some space, and he's got a nice jumper to go along with a really good rebounder.
Ryan Johnson from the elbow, but inadvertently poked back by Boone to Brooks. 15 left. Schlesinger almost loses the handle. Ryan Johnson, good base, couldn't deliver. That's a shot you want to see.
Yeah, Carthage got a good look, but AJ not able to capitalize, and Trellenberg not able to hit on his side, and that's been kind of the story of the game.
Yeah.
He's just shooting just 6 of 15. Carthage did a nice job on the leading scorer for the Blue Jays.
Johnson trying to lean baseline, couldn't find it. And again, you say things like for Trellenberg, just 6 for 15. That's how good he is, that he's at or above a 500 shooter, most times above 40% from 3.
Yeah, I mean, he shoots 51% from the field.
Yeah.
And anytime you keep him under that 50% mark, you've done a nice job. And 6 of 14, well, said, like, doesn't always feel empty, but they really made him work, and it's been tough for him all game long.
66-53 your score. Coach Baines with the timeout. Talking about head coach Steve Jarakovic and what he's able to do. It's a championship culture here at Carthage. And Eric, what can somebody do if they want to invest in the Champions Club?
Invest in champions, invest in the future. Introducing the Carthage Athletics Champions Club, community of alumni, parents, and friends whose generous support enriches the Firebird experience and drives Carthage athletics forward. Carthage student athletes are more than game changers. They are leaders, team builders, and future innovators. Your support helps them thrive academically, athletically, and beyond. Become a champion for our champions. Visit athletics.carthage.edu to give to the Champions Club today.
A lot of time left for Elmhurst to come back. So if you're Carthage, you can't necessarily rest on your laurels. And if you look, it's a scoreless 2.5 minutes now by Carthage. And it may not seem like that much, but, you know, you keep adding to that. That's just opportunity after opportunity for Elmhurst.
It's one of those things you want to be patient. You want to drain some of the clock. But if you get too complacent, sometimes that's what allows team like Elmhurst to get back in the game. So trying to find that balance of staying aggressive, continuing to try to put points on the scoreboard, but realizing that you can work a little bit longer to get that shot if you need to.
Looking at some of the leaders we mentioned, one, Griffin Dawn, 11 points, 9 boards. And still sitting at the 4 assists, 3 steals, a block, and a foul. So Griffin Dawn 1 board away from that double-double.
And on our stats here, when we use on the iPad, they highlight the blue if he's a team leader. And right now, Griffin Dawn's stat line is pretty much a blue streak as he leads the team in rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks tonight.
Foul going to be called on 21, Talon Pearson. And Schlesinger to the line for 2. And Schlesinger on the season shooting 57% from the free throw line. Able to get the first. And those were numbers, Eric, you and I often talk about. And if you're just joining us for the first time this season on the new CCIW network, thank you. Coach Jarakovic recognized that early in the season the free throw percentage wasn't quite where he wanted it to be, and knew that, the law of averages would start creeping up to where he wants him to go, not necessarily on that second shot, but point taken.
Exactly, and that's something that Carthage historically has been one of their best facets of their game, is getting those leads, and now you just got a 12-point lead. So again, Elmhurst scratching and clawing, but Carthage has been really effective at closing games out at the free throw line and taking care of the basketball.
Well, that was a situation we saw multiple times this season with both the men's and women's program here at Carthage is, whether they're forcing the other teams to go 1 for 2 from the free throw line, or they were only going 1 for 2. It allowed for some games that should have been close, maybe have been a bit closer. Brooks fading away, baseline, off the backboard, no good. Chance for Elmhurst to cut into the lead. Touch one more time, Vinny, 3-ball, can't find it. Brooks tips it back to who else? Griffin Dawn, and that, for all intents and purposes, should be considered his 10th board of the afternoon.
He got started early in this game with the first 4 points, I believe, and has not stopped at all.
That stretch of dawn that we had, Schlesinger looks for three, rolls around, can't get it. I mean, my goodness, that was one of the best stretches of his career. We just kept saying his name.
Yeah, really, he started the first half and then closed the first half, as he mentioned. Both those, Griffin Dawn had moments, stretches where he just took over.
And there's that rebounding we were talking about, and they indeed are going to call it against Dom Trellenberg. We said how Coach Baines has said he's improved his rebounding and went for it there. And what could have been a 50-50 ball with Dawn hitting the ground. That's a foul for Trellenberg. And indeed, double-double now for Griffin Dawn, 11 points, 10 boards. Brooks not too far behind, 14 points, 7 rebounds. It just shows you how newly balanced of a team this Carthage squad is from last year. As Ryan Johnson used to be the double-double machine, this contest, 9 points, 4 boards. Bouncing in for Ryan Johnson. He draws the double. Touched away, ill-advised pass, E.J. Marshall. Just throws one up, and it's a miss. Point blank, Boone the offensive board. He goes up strong, miss again. Own offensive board again, and fouled the third time around by Griffin Dawn.
Not a great offensive set there from Carthage, and shot clock winding down. Had to try to find an open look, and there was E.J. Marshall. Not able to connect, but kind of play a little volleyball with their hoop there.
Free throw up and good. How about volleyball season starting in 2 weeks? My goodness. It's exciting.
Yeah, it's one of those sports I didn't really get into until I started doing some work here. And yeah, both men's and women's team here at Carthage are fun to watch. And if you haven't seen a game in person, I'd say definitely check one out.
Schlesinger with the rebound. And again, it's a multiple-time national championship team. And they're saying a foul called against Schlesinger. Wow. So both teams going to their bench. Oh, excuse me, they're saying it's on A.J. Johnson. The official's going to talk about it. Eric, did you see something I didn't?
And I really don't think it was A.J. Johnson. I thought Schlesinger was the
culprit.
Was he Schlesinger was the one that reacted to it when the whistle blew, like it was on him.
Officials having a long talk about what they saw. And again, it was off ball, so I didn't quite see what happened. We'll have to see if our friend Dan Pfeifer on the sidelines is able to pick up what the call's going to be.
Yeah, and Schlesinger, I think, was a little frustrated. He wanted a call, thought he got a bump on that rebound. And I don't know what he did, maybe in retaliation, kind of gave a quick little forearm shove, maybe.
All right. The previous play is indeed going to be under review, and that's what you want to see. Regardless, all right, here's the official review. Thank you so much to John Voinovich, our executive producer, for giving up what happened. All right, let's see here. So Schlesinger gets nudged. He goes down. I don't know what Vinny was jumping at. I'm just being honest with you.
It was like somebody had a controller and just hit jump randomly on him. I don't know what that is. I really don't know.
Dan Pfeifer calling. Dan, what do you got for us, my friend?
So they are reviewing right now if it is a player control foul against the Elmhurst player, and as you can see with the review, he does kind of very randomly jump. We're going to get a decision in just a moment. Came down while I was talking to you guys here, so they're still talking it over. Not sure exactly what they're going to decide just yet, but we will find out momentarily as they are now done at the monitor.
Yeah, thank you for that, Dan. Johnny on the spot, or Danny on the spot, I guess you could say in this circumstance, but it looked as if there was somebody physically touching him, and there wasn't. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that, ever.
I mean, my jaw dropped when I saw that because it just looks so strange, and I don't know what the refs can do here. I really don't know where the foul, because again, they called it on 15, A.J. Johnson, who wasn't even involved in that play there. But I don't think you could give Chris Schlesinger a foul there. That doesn't seem right.
Okay, well, we'll be ready to go back to Dan in just a moment when we get the official call, and that's the appreciate what we're seeing here. And I did not see A.J. Johnson make any contact with anybody. He wasn't even, Schlesinger had it. Dan, what do you got?
Sounds like they are going to call the flagrant foul against Elmhurst in addition to the common foul. So we will have free throws for the flagrant foul as well. It's going to be a flagrant 1.
All right, thank you. Look at how good he knows basketball. Look at that. Thank you for that, Dan.
So it was 15 on Elmhurst there.
Yeah. All right, so indeed, flagrant 1 on number 15, Aja Hungbeta. I don't know what he's saying right now.
I think Riley Brooks is saying, what was that, bro?
Because
that would have been my question to him. I was like, what was that?
Yeah. So Schlesinger with the first free throw nails it. And I'll say this. When they originally called it on Carthage, I said I did a double or triple check.
Like how Chris Schlesinger high-fiving the imaginary teammates out.
Yeah. And this is the second, so 2 for 4 from the free throw line in the past few sequences for Carthage, and they get the ball. I am sure when Elmhurst goes back and look at that film, they're going to say that's one of the most interesting things we've ever seen.
And maybe now that I just saw him do that jump thing, maybe
Yeah.
he thought there was going to be a pass. And he was trying to use his right arm to just like blindly deflect the pass. That is the only thing I can fathom.
Riley Brooks, the drive, the layup with the left hand. That brought the game to a screeching halt. But you bring up a good point. Now that we've seen it that second time, the kick out, open for 3. Rims out, no good. Schlesinger with the board. Maybe he was expecting Schlesinger to pass, so it was more or less a no-look deflection attempt. Like, all right, if I don't make eye contact, he won't know I'm going for a steal.
Just sticking up an arm and hoping for the best.
Sticking up an arm, and Schlesinger ran into it. Foul called against Luke Smith. Want to remind everybody with 2.5 to go. Stick around for the post-game show. Dan Pfeifer will talk to the player of the game courtside, and then we'll have a conversation with head coach Steve Jarakovic up here in the booth.
And now Carthage is exactly where they want to be in this game. Elmhurst has 8 fouls. You've got one of the best free throw shooters in the conference at the line, knocks down his first, and this is where time's on your side and force Elmhurst to come after you.
Free throw up and good for Brooks. Williams subbing in for the aforementioned Brooks. And not to say, people like you and I, we kind of talk for a living, and I never thought I'd be at a loss for words. That truly was something. When I saw him jump initially, I said, what did I miss? And stepping on the baseline while trying to go around was Blahout. And we didn't miss anything. He just jumped, but at least with your assertion of why he did it, it now at least makes sense.
I think, yeah, exactly. It's got to be what he was trying to do, but just don't know really why he was trying that because the ball wasn't even in the air. But either way, Carthage took advantage of it and almost didn't get the ball back here anyway.
Ping pong around. Brooks, right hand, layup, makes it.
And there, because Elmhurst gambling so much defensively, Riley Brooks just able to leak out and get an easy 2.
Well, they almost had the steal. In the lane was Marshall, and then he had it poked away. And Marshall, late contact, leaning into Riley Brooks. Good call, but 2:07 to go in regulation. Last time we saw this Carthage team just a few days ago, they started clearing the bench just around this point, Eric, with a substantial lead. So I think the next possession or two may see where things may go accordingly. Shot up, rolls around a good. Another thing to bring up, we not to just go back, Eric, to the contest that Carthage had against Illinois Wesleyan where they lost in overtime. It was a different Carthage team in the sense of they were still trying to find their identity. As cliche as it sounds, who's your starters, who's your bench player, who's the sixth player, who's your height, who's going to rotate in for who, and the more the season progresses, my goodness, Coach Jarakovic, the puppet master, really finding some success.
I think you're right. It's just it feels like a completely different team where there are some times in those losses they just didn't know what they were kind of doing offensively, it felt like. And now they have such a better identity and roles seem more established than they were.
John Witcher checks into the game out of Hudson, Wisconsin, and immediately gets a layup. And Ryan Johnson answers the call, the two-hand slam.
And there, another wrist of the Blue Jays trying to get the ball back, and Johnson there able to slam it home, get back up 16.
So now also in the game for Elmhurst, number 13, DJ Jarver, out of Tinley Park High School in Oak Forest. So lead at 14. So Elmhurst, one or two more good possessions could really change where things are going. That's a good free throw for Jarver. And that's his first time by Jarver at the line this season. This full court pressure by Elmhurst causing all sorts of fits. Griffin Dawn, layup with the left hand.
And there, Nesbitt doing a nice job breaking the press on his own and the vision to keep his head up to find Griffin Dawn with another two-point bucket.
The quick three, no good. Johnson almost gets fouled. So with 1 minute to go, looks like Coach Bain's going to call off the Hounds. Looking to be another successful home conference win for the Carthage College Firebirds. Down to 10 seconds we go. Johnson, screen for the brother. The pump fake fading away. Why not?
A.J. Johnson had the ball the entire 30 seconds, just kind of dribbled around and said, all right, running out of time here. I'll just knock down this dagger two.
Reminder, stick around for the player of the game. Dan Pfeifer on the sideline will interview a lot of players to choose from. Brooks, 20 points, 7 boards. Griffin Dawn, double-double, 13 points, 10 boards. Ryan Johnson, 11 points, 5 boards. 15 seconds between now and a Firebirds victory. Step back three, no good. Brooks holding on to it, and this should a steal at the end. Things getting a bit chippy. Is that it's not going to be a foul. So a 3 and 2 and 1. It's going to be it. That's going to be all she wrote. And the Carthage College Firebirds beat the Blue Jays in the Battle of the Birds, 80-65, weathering the storm at the very end. And again, we'll go momentarily to Dan Pfeifer with the player of the game. Eric, thoughts?
A dominant, really full 40-minute effort after the hot shooting from Elmhurst to start the game. It was really Carthage, all Carthage the whole way out the rest of the game, and Carthage defensively just did a fantastic job on some of their leading scorers. Trellenberg really had to work for his, and to hold Elmhurst to 65 points and score 80, a convincing victory here for the Firebirds.
Again, we'll be joined momentarily by Dan Pfeifer, and player of the game here on the CCIW network. And we'll take a short timeout and come back with Coach Steve Jarakovic in the postgame show to talk about as thrilling a victory as any for Carthage. Again, win after win, point after point. It's fun to see. And right now we're going to be joined by Dan Pfeifer and the player of the game, Griffin Dawn. Dan.
Griffin Dawn with us, looking straight up at the main camera right there. Hey, Great game, complete game for you. 13 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals. You even have a block shot in the game. I mean, you've had games where you've scored more points. You've had games where you've gotten more rebounds, but have you had a more complete game in your career?
I don't think so. You know, coming into the game, coach always gives me the toughest challenge, and I'm always up for it. So I was happy we can get the dub today. It was a good team effort.
You know, it was an evenly played game through about the first 16 minutes of the contest. Then you went on a 10-0 run to end the first half. What changed for your squad?
Going into halftime, you know, coach just drew up some things that we had to clean up. We know we had a couple turnovers. We weren't getting back on D. We just cleaned that up in the second half and got the dub.
It wasn't just you two. Complete team effort today. Any teammates you want to give a shout out to?
Man, shout out everyone. Shout out the whole team. Shout out the bench. They brought the energy. Man, it was a good team dub.
There you go. Wakanda forever. Griffin Dunn. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, again, Dan, thank you for that. And what a fun output this afternoon. We're going to take a very quick timeout. When we come back, we'll be joined by Coach Jarakovic, the postgame show 80-65 on the Firebird and CCIW Network. And welcome into the post-game show here on the CCIW Network. For Dan Pfeifer and Eric Elger, I'm Peter Ferreri, joined now by head coach Steve Jarakovic. Coach, let's start with this. It was the Griffin Dawn show, another double-double like it's nothing. What's it like to know you have such an arsenal of players of any given night, a player like Griffin can step up?
Our depth is good. It really is. I think it's improved from previous years, just with the versatility of guys that you can throw out there. And I think Griffin Dawn is one of the more underappreciated players. Coaches love him because of what he provides on both ends of the floor. He played 30 minutes guarding Trellenberg, who's probably one of the best players in the conference, who can really score the basketball, cuts well, and on top of that decided to get 4 offensive boards, get to the glass, and have 10 boards and 6 assists and 3 steals. So he stuffs the stat box every time he plays, and he's a coach's dream. Every time you go out there, you know what you're going to get out of Griffin Dawn.
Exactly, and it seems so far this season you've really mixed and matched your bench and starter pieces, really shuffling around some different lineups. How do you feel like where your team is at with their roles and how guys are accepting what their position's going to be?
I think they understand it's a game-by-game thing. I mean, A.J. Williams has been awesome the last couple games back in the starting lineup. Today, based on matchups, how we wanted to guard Elmhurst a little bit, Chris Schlesinger got the call and did a pretty good job. So we can play in a lot of different ways. North Central will be a different challenge when we start breaking that down early next week and get to our matchups. But we play a lot of guys. We play some guys in different positions than probably are normally accustomed to, and try to attack people in different ways. I thought today you could see on the offensive end we found who we wanted to attack a little bit and went at them with a bunch of different players. And another shout out to Jay Baith. Gave us a heck of a lift off the bench in the first half in a much needed time. We were struggling early. We were not contesting the three-point shot at all. Limited job on the boards, I thought, in the first half. And then you look up at the end of the day and you finish plus 11 and you're always happy with that.
And then you talked about early on, they were able to make some threes really early on, and then the defense just seemed to adjust. I mean, holding a team like Elmhurst is just 5 of 25, 20% from the three-point line. You talked about how good they all can shoot. Can you give us some key factors of what it takes for a defense to really shut down a three-point shooting team like Elmhurst?
The one part of me will say I will not tell you that as we go, but it's hard. It is. It needs to be all 5 guys on the same page to make sure that we run off the appropriate players. And they got some guys that can flat out shoot the basketball, and that's something we really keyed in on yesterday. I thought our practice on Thursday was just okay, but the guys came back flying on Friday, and I thought we were beyond prepared. I told you guys last time we were here on Tuesday, our scout guys are fantastic. They give a heck of a look. The Mason Millers, the older guys too. Besides the young group, Mason Miller, Pat Lowry, Quentin Villa, all those guys gave us such a good look that represent exactly what we're going to see today.
Looking ahead now, Coach, a little bit of a holiday for yourself, so happy early holidays.
Thank you.
With that being said, a unique question I want to ask is when there was a delay when they did the review to talk about that technical, what do you say to the team, though? Because you had so much momentum before that. That was almost a 3-minute plus lull. What did you say to the team to say, hey, let's still finish?
No matter the outcome, play through it, right?
Okay.
Next play. Our guys have a pretty good next play attitude. I think that showed a little bit down the stretch. We kind of turned it over a few too many times that were necessary, but this is a resilient group. We've said that a lot this year, too. We're starting to click at the right time. I think we are playing our best basketball right now. We're sharing the ball very well. We're competing better on the boards. I think our goal was this year +4, +5, and I think we're right at those numbers this year after an even year last year.
Sure. North Central coming up in a few days. What does the next few days look like for everybody?
2 days really good prep. We need it. North Central's another team that's going to be super physical. They're very correct and well coached and organized in where they're trying to attack. And it's our first road game. The conference schedule was a little unique, I'll call it, this year with 4 straight home games to start. So we know how difficult road conference games are, so we got to come ready to work for 2 days, and I think the guys know it's our bye on Saturday. So we got two days to grind, have really physical competitive practices to be ready to go down to Naperville on Wednesday night.
Sounds great, Coach. Congrats on the big win. Keep the momentum going.
Thanks so much, guys.
All right, that was head coach Steve Jarakovic. Eric, any thoughts on what Coach had to say? Again, applauding the likes of Griffin Dawn, of course, but also giving the shout-outs to the players that maybe don't get their names said on the broadcast as often, but are critical in the victory that we see here today.
I mean, it seems easy to say. I mean, in those practices, you got to have your starters play against somebody, and, you want those practices to feel as game-like as you can. And credit to Coach Jurkovic really extending that shout-out to some of those key role players at the end of the bench. And it'd be interesting to see how they can turn this thing around. And North Central, we know it seems like a rivalry. I mean, every match seems like a rivalry in the CCIW, but that North Central game is going to be hotly contested, and it'd be fun to see how they do on the road here.
80-65, your final as we look at some of the out-of-town scoreboard numbers. 64-58. Augustana leads over Milliken with 7 to go in that contest. 70-66, a close one right now. Illinois Wesleyan leads over Carroll. That is only a 4-point game. We'll see if that goes final while we're still here on the postgame show. And another close one. North Central leading 76-73 over North Park with just about 2 minutes to go in that contest. So close games all around the CCIW. Again, looking individually speaking, next game up for Elmhurst, they will be taking on Milliken Wednesday the 7th at 7 o'clock. So that'll be a good one coming up for Elmhurst as they look to bounce back from this contest. And if we flip over to Carthage, where they are looking ahead, they are at North Central this Wednesday, of course, at 7 o'clock. And again, we'll give you that information when that goes final. And then as for the CCIW network, what is upcoming across the board for Carthage on the CCIW network in the coming days. Again, Carthage on the road, of course, for men's hoops, but women's basketball, they welcome North Park this Wednesday. Next Saturday, swim and dive versus UW Oshkosh. Wednesday the 14th, men's hoops versus North Park. And then Thursday, the home opener for men's volleyball versus Benedictine, all coming up on the CCIW network. And again, we want to thank you all for being with us this Saturday, early evening in Kenosha. For executive producer Mike Love, producer John Voinovich, and for Ty on graphics and directing, camera Emma, great job as always. This broadcast has been a program and presentation of Firebird Broadcast Productions and Carthage College, copyright 2026. Once again, for Eric Elger and Dan Pfeifer, I'm Peter Ferreri. Big win in the Battle of the Birds, 80-65. Have a good rest of your evening, everybody.